Fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Good morning, Yankees universe. Welcome back to another episode of the Yankees Morning Brew on this Tuesday, January 2nd. It's 2025. Grace Monroe, happy New Year to you,
Happy
Grace.
New Year. Happy
How
New
you
Year. I
feeling,
can't believe
Grace?
it's 2025.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. It's
Yes.
really hitting me. It's really hitting me. Happy New Year to everybody in the chat. Hope you had a safe, happy, healthy New Year. And I watched the ball drop in New York City. Hector texts me right at midnight, and I was like, well, it's not midnight here yet, but thank you. Thank you for the New York. Happy New Year. When you don't live in New York City, you still watch the ball drop at midnight, even if it's not your midnight. Because New York City is the greatest city in the world.
Point blank
This is
period.
just a fact. Don't blame me. I'm just the messenger. But yeah, Happy New Year. One of my favorite holidays. Very underrated. Love the new beginnings. So
Yes. It's always a good time when you start the new year off fresh. So shout out to chat. We want to say that here first and foremost. NY Yankee Mania is in the building. Happy New Year to you, my guys. Salute. Jose Medina's in the building. Happy New Year, familia. Hope all is well. FJ is in the building. My guy, how you doing? Happy New Year. Salute to you. We got these channels in the building. Good morning. Hope all is well. Happy New Year. Mikey Maz in the 4 Train Express. Johnny S is in the building. Richie Squires, Marshall Brown, Mr. Highlander, how you doing? Mr. William DeKiko is in the building. I love the profile pic. My guy looking sharp. I apologize for butchering the last name.
Let's bring back hats. Can we bring back hats?
Let's bring back the cool hats. Because first of all, William, that hat is spot on, my guy.
Yes.
Shout out to William.
Absolutely.
And shout out to Theo Nosebleed Section. I want to shout out Nosebleed Section first and foremost. Nosebleed has been rocking out with us this entire season and off season from last year. Nosebleed, it's great to have met you. It's great to know you, Theo Nosebleed. Appreciate you always in the chat. Shout out to you. Seth Stone is in the building. My guy FL Divers in the building. And the first person in the chat, Jacob Petruzzi, the fly guy. He's at work, but he's always supporting Uptown Sports in the chat. Appreciate you, Jacob Petruzzi. But Grace, it's 2025. 2024 is behind us, right? The off season is here. We're 13 days away from the Roki Sasaki deadline. Shout out to Anna Marie LeBeau in the chat. Anna Marie, happy New Year to you. My guy Big Slick is in the building. Slick, how you doing, my guy? Salute to you. But yeah, 2025. What are you looking forward to the most when it comes to this upcoming Yankee season, Grace?
Oh, wow. What am I looking forward to the most? Well, that has to be Jason Dominguez. Yes, sir. I am so excited, y'all. I went ahead. I don't even want to spoil the surprise, but anyway, I'll just spoil it if you're watching it. It's not like anyone cares, but anyway. I ordered Martian, bobble ears.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
The little balls and they
I love it.
You know what I'm talking about? I ordered them on Amazon. They'll be here any day, and you best believe I'll be wearing them on the pod because my boy Jason Dominguez is fixing to put the entire league on notice. Now, that being said, I want to say, in case anybody forgot, Jason Dominguez is a studious studier of the game who puts in the work, okay? Yes, he is full of natural, God-given talent. However, this kid works hard and puts in the hours, and he studies, and he improves, and he grows. So what I'm getting at here is, at every level that he's been at so far, we can look at the statistics and see that he takes his time to heat up. Okay, he takes 1 or 2 months at every level that he's been at so far to figure it out, to fine tune his mechanics to get him just how he wants. When he does, he is a phenom. He is a Martian. He is out of this world. He is unbelievable. Okay, so where I'm going with this is, give him a couple of months, 2 months of consistent at bats to figure out the league. And I
Yes.
promise you, this investment will pay off in spades because this kid is smart and he's going to prove all of us right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking forward to. Hector, what about you?
No, I'm same. When it comes to Jason Dominguez finally being able to get, again, knock on wood, if he's healthy, getting the playing time us Yankee fans have been wanting to see from this young man. We thought it was going to be last year, but last year, up and downs because of injuries. We know that this kid has all the talent in the world. We've been hearing about this kid. It feels like forever, since 2005, we've been hearing about Jason Dominguez, but it's really been since 2019. But no, finally we'll be able to get to see what Jason Dominguez have, right? And that's the one thing I'm excited for. Second thing, what I'm excited for, as much as I wanted Juan Soto back, right? Anthony Medina in the chat, shout out to my brother Anthony Medina. Him and I, we went back and forth on this. As much as I wanted Juan Soto back, as much as I feel as Juan Soto is a generational talent, seeing the team that we have right now, the front office pivoted perfectly. When you look at the additions, Cody Bellinger, Max Fried, Paul Goldsmith, Devin Williams, you see the rumors for third base, whether that's Arenado, Brandon Lowe, Luis Arraez, whoever it is, the Yankees front office are cooking. They pivoted the perfect way, and this is a nice bounce back after losing to Juan Soto. Let's just see if it's enough to take us over the hump so we could get back to the World Series, because that is always the goal, getting to the World Series and winning a World Series. We didn't win it this last year, but we still got there. Whatever avenue you want to say it was an easy path for the Yankees, whatever you want to say, we still showed up. We just weren't able to produce. So I want to keep on shouting out the chat as we continue. My guy, Li Yankee King, is in the building. Salute to you, Li Yankee King. How you doing? Stephen B is in the building. My guy, Dev Finch, is in the building. Gregory Wayne is in the building. How you doing? Anna Marie says, Grace is a proud Martian mama. Absolutely, she definitely is. And Marky Gates in the chat says, J Dom, Rookie of the Year, 35 and 50. Listen, Mark, if that happens to Jason Dominguez, that's going to be an amazing season. Let's see who else. Let's see. Gregory Rain says Jazz at third base. Let's see. I think the Yankees will rather move Jazz to second and bring in a third baseman, but we still have some rumors that are out there. We still have things to see. I know there's a lot of chatter when it comes to Brandon Lowe, Nolan Arenado, Luis Arraez. We'll get to that real quick. Grace, I want to ask you though, right? Christmas came, the New Year's came, Santa Claus visited us, put some stuff in our stockings and stuff like that. If there was one thing you wanted Brian Cashman and the front office to get before spring training, who is that player? Who is that player? Who is that player? Before we get into the rumors about Arenado and Luis Arraez and Brandon Lowe, who is the player that is on your mind from the New York Yankees to acquire for third base? I know you like Chase Young, or Chase, however you pronounce his name, from the Texas Rangers. I know you're in love with that young man, but are you still sticking with him? Is that the guy that you're going with, Grace?
I think, okay, so when I said that I wanted Josh Young and that I was willing to talk about a trade with the Martian, first of all, maybe I should plead temporary insanity, but what I wanted at that time, we didn't have a first baseman either. And what I was talking about was getting a first base in Nathaniel Lowe and a third base with Josh Young for Jason Dominguez and some sort of prospect package that we would put together for that in order to fill two holes. But now that we already have Goldie at first and we don't need to fill two holes anymore, I'm not even having a conversation about trading Jason Dominguez anymore. He is a starting outfielder. I want him in center field. I know, some fans are kind of torn. Should we play him in left? Should we play him in center? I want to play him in center field, so I'm going to say he's our starting center fielder until further notice. Until I'm corrected on that, that's what I'm going to believe. Because we need to put him in the best position to have a great year. Not Cody Bellinger. Cody Bellinger's going to have a great year. He's an experienced, league-tested guy. Jason Dominguez needs to have all of his ducks in a row, and because we are depending on him for the offense. But anyway, let me not get off track. So because of that, I think the price for Josh Young is just going to be something we can't attain because he's got so many more years under control. Even though I absolutely love him and I would just love to have him on the team. If you're asking me what's the one name out there that I think we should have that will put our team over the top, Hector, I'm sorry to do this to you, but unfortunately, I don't think there is one. I don't. I've been out there. I've been grinding in these podcast streets.
Okay, I see
I've
you.
been looking. I've been searching high and low. There's not a one name out there to me that is like, oh, that's it. We're ready to go. Back to the World Series. We're perfect now. I just don't see it. There are a few names out there that I feel like would improve the team. But if you're asking, is there one magic pill? I don't know what that is. Go ahead.
I gotta agree with you. And like my guy Jose Medina said, Grace is down there dropping the gems 100%. Folks in the chat, drop the fire emoji, drop the 100 for Grace because she's cooking right now. And when you look at the options, right, there are many options that are out there, but are there any options that make you say, we have to go get that player? I don't think there's many saying that we have to move heavens and mountains in order to get this player. The players that are out there, they would improve our team when you look at what our third base situation was last year. And that's no shade to Jazz Chisholm. Every time I bring that up, I like to say Jazz Chisholm was playing out of position. He's picked up a position in the middle of the season, something he never played. And I think he did a serviceable job. So if you move Jazz Chisholm to second base and you bring in a third baseman that's a seasoned third baseman, moving Jazz Chisholm to his natural position of second base, a position he came up in, I think will make his game better and make the team better when it comes to that infield defense. But who is that player that is that game changer when it comes to third base? I don't think there's many game changers. There are pieces that could be a Band-Aid. You know, I know a lot of Yankee fans hate that term of Band-Aid, but I think there's players that we could get that are serviceable and not game changers, if you understand what I'm saying. They could be 1 or 2 year stopgaps until the Yankees figure out their third base position. Because when you look at our roster completely, whether it's the outfield or the infield, the two spots that are like glaring holes for the New York Yankees, not only for this season, but for years to come, are third base and first base. I know we got Paul Goldschmidt for this 1 year, but Paul Goldschmidt, 38, he's about to start cashing his Social Security checks, right? So when you look at the Yankees depth chart for the entire minor league, that's why they're moving George Lombard to third base, because they don't have any third base prospects that are up, that are down the pipeline. They're trying to move people around to get a third baseman of the future, to get a first baseman of the future. Now, whether that's an internal situation or an internal solution, or if the Yankees pivot and go out into free agency and look at Murakami next year. I know L.A. Yankee King gonna lose his mind when I bring him up, but those are the two glaring spots when you look at the Yankees as an organization, depth chart wise. Third base and first base are two spots. I'm sorry, Anna Marie, for the Social Security checks. My apologies. Shout out to Anna Marie that is in the building. Shout out to you. Who else we got? We had a few more people that came in that I want to give them a shout out to. Mikey Rock is in the building. Mr. Pete, how you doing? Salute to you one time. But again, go ahead, Grace. You wanted to add something?
Like you were saying, everybody comes with a significant drawback, or you like to say, like, everybody has warts, right? So Kim, somebody just brought up, has the injury history. Carlos Correa has an inflated contract. I mean, talking about trading for him. What's his name? Alex Bregman. He's going to want a long-term deal, and we're not sure if we want to sign a long-term deal. Of course, he's a great third baseman with pop, but what's that long-term picture look like for the team? Every player out there, Nolan Arenado, everybody who has been either made available by their team or is on the free agent market comes with a risk. And that's what Brian Cashman just doesn't. I mean, he over his career, and I know he's made some mistakes, as we all have in life. Over his career, he doesn't do that. He really doesn't do that on the whole. So I'm not really expecting him to make a huge move here for a risky either trade or player. He usually plays it safe, and over the aggregate of his career, it's worked out for him. So I don't hate Jazz at third at all. If we could get a second baseman that could bring us some offense and still play plus defense, I think that's probably going to be the best way to fix the team. Just because none of the third basemen available are just thrilling me. Unfortunately, I do think that Brandon Lau is probably the best fit on our team. However, what it's going to cost to get him from the Rays, I don't know.
Yeah.
I do know that last year the Rays were specifically asking about Lombard Jr. and Cashman does not want to trade him away. So that may be just a conversation ender right there. I don't know, but I feel like Brandon Lau would be the best way to improve. He's got pop, he's got offense. He is better on defense. It would be a huge, massive improvement on defense to have him there. Hey, Hector, ask me how many errors Brandon Lau had last year at second base.
Hold on, wait. Grace Monroe, I have a question, right? From the studio. I got a question from the studio.
I love questions.
Grace, how many errors did Brandon Lowe have last year? The studio wants to know.
Oh, let me see. 0.
Oh, okay, that's
zero,
awesome.
0. 0?
Yeah,
errors at second base on the New York Yankees? We could never. Never. I can't even remember a time. Anyway.
It goes to the philosophy that you've seen Brian Cashman lay out for this offseason when it comes to pitching and defense. Go ahead, Grace. Keep cooking.
But yeah, it does. And it would be, like I said, he's a plus defender at second. Not a gold glove, but an excellent defender. Great offense as well. MVP votes for a couple years. Rookie of the Year votes back when he made his debut. He's a former All-Star. He's got playoff experience. He did hit quite a few home runs.
He hurt us.
In the playoffs.
He was a Yankee killer in the playoffs, if you remember, against Chapman.
I think he hit 4 home runs that year in the playoffs or something. 4 or 5 home runs. It was but yeah, these pipe dream trades aren't happening. St. Louis is not trading Donovan. The Yankees are not going after Correa. Cleveland is not trading Jose Ramirez. A trade for Lowe is possible. Lau. I think it's Lau. Is possible. Okay, so FJ came in the 2025 hot. He's like, listen, this is the year of reality, okay? These pipe dream trades ain't happening, Pop. No, okay, all right. I see where you are.
I want to piggyback
off what podcast where we just talk about our dreams, okay?
That's it. Dreams and nightmares, right? I want to shout out FJ, right? Because he made a great point. But first off, shout out to my guy NFE in the strike zone. He got a new logo. Shout out to NFE with the new logo. We got over 100. We got 170 people in the building rocking out with us. If you guys can, please smack that like button. We got 120 people on YouTube. We're sitting at 40 likes. If you guys can, please smack that like button and hit that subscribe button. When it comes to subscribers, we are sitting at 4,734. We are on our way to 5K, almost there. Help us out by hitting the subscribe button. So I want to rank them, right, to FJ's point of more realistic trades, and Brandon Lau came up first, right? So I want to talk about Brandon Lau, being that Brandon Lau is connected with the Tampa Bay Rays, and knowing that if you're trading in your division, you're going to have to pay a tax, right? An in-division tax. Also, you're going to have to pay a Yankee tax in order to get Brandon Lau for the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, is Brandon Lau worth giving up some of your high-ranking prospects? It depends who you want. Bobby Malone just put it out there. We talk about second base. The obvious choice is Brandon Lau. Lau, I think, gets moved before the start of the season. The Rays, they have guys that can replace him at second base. Lau is the perfect fit for the Yankees. The cost would hurt, but if Cash wants to win, the window is now. You have to go in. I agree with that last part. The window is now, right? And this is the window that we have over the next 3 years to maximize the most out of both Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole. I know we added Max Free. I know we got Carlos Rodon. We got other pitchers as well. But if you want to maximize the most out of your top 2 players, and both of the top 2 players are Aaron Judge and Garrett Cole, you cannot be afraid to include some of your prospects, whether that's a George Lombard, whether that's a Spencer Jones, whether you may not want to give them up for Brandon Lau, but if you're trying to win And if you want to be taken serious, if you want to maximize over these next 3 years, Brandon Lau, he has control for the next 2 years as well. Something to also keep in mind. You may have to pull that trigger, and you may have to trade a prospect or two that you may not want to trade. I desperately do not want to trade George Lombard Jr. So you're going to have to twist my arm and convince me to make that deal happen. But if I'm Brian Cashman, and if Brian Cashman is listening to me in the Echo Fear, do not be scared. You have to make the trade. You have to be able to.
Hector, you're making great points. But I will see your last chance prime year Aaron Judge, and I'll also see your last chance prime year Garrett Cole, and I'll raise you a last year prime chance Giancarlo Stanton.
Oh, Giancarlo.
How many more years? Yeah. How many more years do you think we're really going to have of Big G? One of the best postseason players of all time and the leader in New York Yankees franchise history in home runs in the postseason. The leader over Babe Ruth. Look it up. Over Babe Ruth.
That's crazy to even say. That's crazy to even say.
But he is that guy. He is him. And the way he had to calibrate down his game to try to stay healthy, the way that they don't even play him in the outfield anymore, the way that he can, I won't say that he can barely run. He chooses to barely run the bases in order to preserve his body, okay? And that's what he has to do. And everybody listening, let him do that, because we need his bat, okay? I want to do it for Big G. And in this order: Big G, Aaron Judge, Garrett Cole. And I love all three of them. Those are my guys, you know, but I want to do it for Big G so bad. And so if that means we have to give it up and try harder just this one last time, I'm an emotional Yankees fan. I want to do that and pull that lever right now. But I'm not sure that Brian Cashman thinks that way. He doesn't think like an emotional Yankees fan. He thinks like a business man who has to manage, you know, income and I don't know. And I do believe he wants to win, and I believe Hal wants to win too. But yeah, I don't know.
And I agree with you as well. I think, you know, Brian Cashman, I know there's been some rumblings that he may want to transition out of his role within the next like 3 to 5 years. If there's any truth behind it, copy whatever. If there's no truth, whatever it is. But I do agree that they want to win. It's just, if you're Brian Cashman, you can't go out there. You can't get fleeced by every other. There's 29 other GMs that you have to work with, and all of those 29 GMs are trying to fleece you in these negotiations. The same way that if you or I, Grace, were in Brian Cashman's shoes, would try to do the same thing when it comes to trading with teams and trying to hold back and not give up. It's just the nature of the business. It's just what separates a good GM from a bad GM is your decisions actually hit. If you're a bad GM, that means that the decisions you made didn't hit and you got fired from your job after a year, right? That's what separates a good GM from a bad GM. Also, hiring the right people around you as well separates a good GM from a bad GM. I think Brian Cashman is going to go down as one of the best GMs in New York sports when you look at how long he's been with the Yankees, how many championships. I know a lot of us Yankee fans don't really care about that. Say, oh, well, you had money and you had this, that, and the third. Whatever he had, he still was able to get some championships out of it, right? So you feel how you feel. Fight who you want to fight with. Don't fight with me. Fight in the comment sections. I'm not the one who I'm not the one who hired Brian Cashman. But I think when it's all said and done, they want to make money, they want to win, and they understand putting a product on the field that the Yankee fans will get back. Look how fast they pivoted after Juan Soto. After Juan Soto signed with the Mets, they pivoted so fast, signed Max Fried, traded for Devin Williams. I don't think anybody thought the Devin Williams trade was going to happen, right? Everybody had Devin Williams going to the LA Dodgers, and at the last minute, Brian Cashman came in, and he swooped in and made that deal. A lot of the rumors when it comes to Cody Bellinger is that Cody Bellinger in everybody's eyes was going to the Baltimore Orioles, and at the last second, the Yankees swooped in and stole Cody Bellinger from the Baltimore Orioles. So you got to give some credit where credit's due. We could beat up on them when they make bad decisions. We could beat down on them when they make bonehead trades, but when they actually make good moves, give flowers when flowers is deserved. That's all I say.
Yeah. I mean, the way that he has to navigate a franchise that has terrible picks in the draft consistently, I mean, it's easy to build an incredible farm system when you're picking at the top of the draft every year.
Mhm.
I mean, what's the trick in that? The fact that the Yankees year in year out have maintained relevancy and gone to the playoffs so many times, never had a losing
Mhm.
season in 30 years, however long it's been. I mean, that is not
Yeah.
easy. That
Yeah.
is not easy. So anyway,
Like
I want to
like
win the
like
World Series. Let me be clear. I want to
like
win the
like
World Series, but
I was gonna say, like NFE says, right? From the time that Hal Steinbrenner took over the team from when his brother passed away, Hank, like NFE says, I've never seen Hal move so quick. A fire was lit underneath him. Absolutely. The way that they pivoted after Juan Soto was like that. It was automatic. So shout out to you, NFE, for that great take. Gregory Rain, I agree with you as well. Arraez should be ready in
yeah.
2026. So
You
we
know
just
what?
need to just wait a year or so in order for some of our prospects to come up. Yankees Town Babe, Arraez, don't trade him. He is the next Altuve. I saw him at Yankee spring training. Shout out to Eddie as well in the chat. Eddie Snaps. I lost his comment. I was trying to bring him up. Shout out to my guy Eddie Snaps that is in the building. Gene says any trade should start with Roderick Arraez. He is blocked by Lombard. There's a lot of back and forth when it comes to who should be traded and who should be not traded. Mark Gates says it would be a blessing if Spencer Jones and Roderick Arraez were MLB ready. They're probably a couple of seasons away, but I want to just hold on. Just got a text message. Sorry. Go ahead, Grace. I'll throw it over to you as I get ready for the next graphic. Go ahead.
I was just saying, going back to talking about making moves and everything, and Hal and the way Hal was able to pivot quickly, and the Halo Sarge, and not just roll over and be like, what are we gonna do? Like, no, he was like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. And what have the Mariners done? Let me ask you this: what would your life be like as a Mariners fan right now when they put together one of the greatest rotations that the American League had seen in years, and they did nothing with it? And now they're not making enough moves. They're not adding. They're just not giving what they need to give. I mean, look at, there are multiple teams around the league, and I could point them out, but there are multiple leagues of teams around the league that their fans are crying out to their GMs, to their ownership, please call this person, call that person, make our team better. We want to win. And they're not doing anything. The Yankees, year in, year out, every good free agent that's on the market, Cashman's talking to them. Now, he may not sign them all, he may not offer them all, but he calls every single one of them. Every single one. That's why the Yankees' names are floated with every single free agent out there. Oh, the Yankees are interested. Well, that's because Brian Cashman doesn't sleep. I told y'all in December. In December, Brian Cashman works harder than Santa Claus. And it's true. We should be grateful that we have a GM that is and ownership group that's constantly trying to improve the team and to stay at the top and to win every year. And yes, winning the World Series is the ultimate goal. And when we don't win the World Series, we're disappointed as Yankees fans. We're spoiled. I get it. I feel that way too, but I am still grateful for what we have. Let's go in.
Yeah, no, 100%. And I want to shout out New York Yankee Girl in the chat because I think she's saying what everybody is thinking. Shout out to NY Yankee Girl 33 in the building. The Yankees need to make another move for an infielder because DJ, they can't have DJ in the starting lineup. Absolutely. I want to shout out Jay Boogie in the building. Jay Boogie, Happy New Year. Jay Boogie always comes with the hype. He says, this show is on. It's off-season game. If you can't talk the off-season, the office work is harder than playing baseball. Shout out to Hector and Grace, the lady of the pinstripes. Happy 25. Absolutely, Jay Boogie. Appreciate you. We got over 230 people in the building rocking out with us. We got 150 on YouTube. We're sitting at 57 likes. If you guys can, smack that like button. Let's try to get to 150 likes as fast as we can. Smack the like button. Hit that subscribe button. Help us out with the algorithm. Comment in the comments section. Put the fire emojis for Grace because she's cooking right now. But let's let's switch the topic to two other players that we have to talk about. One of them is Nolan Arenado. I think everybody is tired of talking about him, so I'll save him for last. So I want to talk about Luis Arraez, right? Because there's a rumor circulating right now that for some reason the San Diego Padres are trying to move Luis Arraez, right? Toby Skoman on Twitter, shout out to Toby, says with rumors of Luis Arraez possibly being moved this offseason, the Yankees are among one of the better fits for the 27-year-old. Now, Luis Arraez, in 93 games against the American League East, he is a .310 hitter. He has 113 hits, 5 home runs, and 43 RBIs. He has a career high leverage when it comes to 347 average, an 869 OPS, and a 133 WRC plus. Grace, I know we've went back and forth when it comes to Luis Arraez, and like Highlander says, his defense is suspect. And if we're trying to upgrade, I know what he brings us offensively. I know what he brings us in the leadoff spot. But if we're upgrading, because Gleyber Torres was a horrible defender, the worst defender at second base, why are we going to bring in somebody that's equally as bad defensively, if not a little bit better defensively than Gleyber Torres? I see the upside from the offense. I just think he is a liability when it comes to his defense. If you guys saw, Marcus Stroman suffered significantly from the Yankees defense. That's why his numbers were what it was. But Grace, talk some sense when it comes to Luis Arraez. Make me see what some Yankee fans are seeing.
No, I can't. I shan't. I will not accept. I will not accept.
William, anything is better than Torres. I'm sorry.
William, I like you. I will not accept piss poor defense up the middle for the New York Yankees anymore. I am 100% well done, overcooked, and I quit. I can't do it. Y'all know, listen, I saw the video of Gleyber Torres where he was damn near about to cry. Okay. And I am not a woman without a heart. Okay. And I know I've been trashing Gleyber Torres for a long time. That's because I wanted him off of my team. Now that he is, trust me, I'm not going to be out here talking shit about him anymore. I wish for him to have a wonderful, he is a kind human, a wonderful man. And I want to bring up a memory from last year, because we're going to go over some memories today. You know, New Year's, we're going to look back a little bit. We're going to look forward and back. Anybody remember that game where Carlos Rodon got absolutely rocked and he went over to the dugout, bullpen area, whatever, and cried? Remember this?
No. Wait,
you don't remember when Carlos Rodon cried?
Yes.
Okay. I'm like, oh my God. And who was the person that went over to him, put his arm around him, and comforted him in that moment? It was Gleyber Torres.
It was Gleyber.
And Gleyber is beloved in the clubhouse. He is a really nice, kind man, and he wanted to be a Yankee. He loved being a Yankee. It breaks my heart that it just didn't work out. For both parties, we had to move on. I mean that genuinely. Both parties, we had to move on. It's going to be better for Gleyber. I believe he's going to have a great year in Detroit. Less pressure, less eyes, new start. You know, he's going to be playing for a contract again. Unfortunately, he only signed a 1-year deal. But I wish nothing but the best for Gleyber. That being said, the lack of defense up the middle for the New York Yankees was a plague for years, and I couldn't wait for that era to be done. Okay, now that it is done, and I wish all the best, world peace. After that, I'm not going back at all. We're not going to do this again. I can't. I simply cannot, okay? So I get it. We want the bad. We want
I have
off,
something.
Blah, blah, blah. No.
I have something here, right? Now that you bring that up, right? I put a video on our channel on the shorts. I uploaded a short. This was right before the New Year's. It was Gleyber Torres' last hit as a New York Yankee, right? So I just want to play it real quick. Again, some of y'all may get a little bit emotional, but I'm going to just play this and we'll be back.
Well, yesterday.
Well, I don't know what just happened.
Your style is unorthodox.
I'm trying to get to it.
Driven the other way, deep right center field. It's got a chance.
I wish
Aw.
you the best, Gleyber Torres. Wish you the best,
We
Gleyber
do,
Torres.
of course.
Let's continue. Like I said, the conversation when it comes to Luis Arraez. I don't think Luis Arraez defensively should be the move that we make. If Giancarlo Stanton wasn't our DH, if we were able to have Luis Arraez be the everyday DH, this is a different conversation. But the fact that we have Giancarlo Stanton stuck as our DH, I don't think we should bring in a guy and Luis Arraez. Yes, his offense, right, warrants a conversation around it. But when you look at his defense, when you look at his speed as well, he's not a very fast guy also. So adding another guy who's slow to the New York Yankees and who plays bad defensively, I don't think it's a good pickup, right? If we're trying to upgrade defense, if we're trying to go young, if we're trying to improve the speed, then I'd rather go after Kim. I'd rather go after Ha-Seong Kim than Luis Arraez, right? Well, Ha-Seong Kim, he is great defensively. He has the speed. I know we could put him at the leadoff spot. I know he dealt with some injuries, but he was still a solid player for San Diego. And I think in Yankee Stadium, I think his bat will be better offensively at Yankee Stadium than it was in San Diego because of how big that ballpark is. Ha-Seong Kim has the ability to go opposite field, so he can get some cheap home runs at Yankee Stadium. So I would like Ha-Seong Kim over Luis Arraez if I just had to choose, to be honest. One, you're gonna have to give up some prospects and some capital in order to get Luis Arraez. Ha-Seong Kim is just money.
True. But we're already over the 300 million. We're already over.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're gonna do it. But yeah,
That's if we get off of some money. Right now we have Marcus
True.
Stroman. There's rumors about the Yankees out there trying to shop Marcus Stroman. And when you look at the Marcus Stroman situation, if you're a team like the Detroit Tigers who need pitching, Marcus Stroman is a perfect guy that the Yankees can call up to try to convince the Tigers to get. If the Tigers don't want to eat the whole 18 million, the Yankees could offer to eat at least 5 million, save the Yankees 12 to 13 million. It gives Detroit Tigers a starting pitcher that could give them 150 innings, a veteran starting pitcher who has amazing numbers in their ballpark. So that's an option that the Yankees could pursue as well.
That's true. I mean, I don't know how much Kim makes. I don't know if. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I don't know how much Kim is asking for, how much he's projected to make, like what that contract's going to look like. I'm not like trade Marcus Stroman, get him out of here person. I like Marcus Stroman. I think that he was a victim, like you brought up earlier, Hector, and I thought it was a great point. He was a victim of poor middle infield defense last year.
Defense.
Oh, sorry, minus Anthony Volpe, but Anthony Volpe could only do so much when he was ranging over to cover. Anyway, let me just not. You know what? In 2025, I'm not going to talk shit about Gleyber Torres. That's my New Year's resolution.
That's a great New Year's resolution to have.
That's a great one. But really, he was a victim of poor defense last year. I think he pitched 150 innings or something crazy. I mean, that's valuable on any team. That is super valuable. At the end, he was willing to go into the bullpen. They didn't end up using him. He lost some gas toward the end of the year, which is kind of part of his game, but he does contribute to the team. He was our best pitcher for a period of time there in the summer. And I love his vibe. I love his energy. He did pop off at the mouth a couple times. That kind of got him a little bit in trouble with I think probably I know the captain went over and talked to him at one point in the dugout last year, but I like that. I like a little bit of a fiery, aggressive athlete. I like that. So I'm not just on the get rid of Marcus Stroman train. I think you can never have enough pitching. What if there's another injury in spring training? What if Garrett Cole isn't 100%? What if? I don't know what the situation is. But they've been shopping Marcus Stroman. If there's not a good fit, then don't just dump him to get him off the roster. In my opinion, it's better to just keep him at that point. If you're not going to be able to leverage that money into something way better for the team, and you're going to have to pay some money anyway, then just ride with him. And maybe you move him at the trade deadline, or maybe you move him in spring at the end of spring training. Maybe another team has an injury and then they have a need. Who knows? But I'm not just gonna dump him just to get rid of him and get nothing in return. That's just me.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I don't think it will be nothing in return. I think what the return will be is that it opens up 15 million, 13 million that the Yankees could use either in free agency or making a trade. I think that's what opens it up. I don't think you're trading Marcus Stroman with the belief that we're going to get back some major league talent for Marcus Stroman alone. No, you trade Marcus Stroman because you're trying to get off of his contract so you can free up 12 to 13 million that allows you to use that, whether that's free agency or whether that's via a trade. But I like Mr. Highlander, who says Stroman's vesting option is the sticking point, right? And that's what's going to make it hard to trade Marcus Stroman, because if Marcus Stroman pitches 140 innings this upcoming season, they have another year of Marcus Stroman making 18 million, right? So that vesting option is the tricky spot with Marcus Stroman. Some teams may view him as a serviceable starting pitcher, but not a starting pitcher that is warranted of $18 million a season. So it's going to be tricky to see how for the Yankees to navigate. But this is where Brian Cashman, this is where he gets his paycheck from, right? This is where Brian Cashman gets paid. This is where the people around him make their money, by going out there and creating avenues to make trades that seem impossible possible. And that's something that Brian Cashman has to do. Now, going on. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, you can put a clause in a trade that says, if his vesting option is triggered, then we will give you $8 million, or then we will give you $4 million, or however much. That's what the Cubs did with Cody Bellinger. They were like, if Bellinger picks up his option for next year, then we will send you $4 million, or however much it was. I can't even remember now. $4 million? But $2 million? Can't remember. It was like
3 or 4 million, whatever it was. Okay. But Steve O in the chat, another dope profile pic. I love that dope profile pic, mixing the Yankees with the Avatar anime. I love that. He said Marcus Stroman fades off in the second half of the season, right? And you can't spend 18 million for a sixth starter. And I absolutely agree with him, right? When you look at Marcus Stroman, he has the passion, he has that fire, he has what you want from a veteran on your team. It's just he fades in the second half of the season, and I don't put that solely on Marcus Stroman. I just put that because of his age.
Okay, but hold on. What if you're paying your 3 and 5 starter practically nothing, bro?
No. I agree with you. I'm talking about from another major league team. Like, another major league team may not want to trade for Marcus Stroman because of that money is attached to him. For me, if we're the Yankees, having him and you have Clark Smith and Luis Hill making pennies, I think that's solid to have. You need that.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to
I don't
you,
think another team. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I hear you.
I think another team, if they're trying to trade him to another team, I don't think many teams will want to pay number 4 starter 18 million. For the Yankees, it's perfect because we got Clark Smith and Luis Hill, but I don't think another team out there may want to pay him that much.
Call me crazy. I mean, I'm saying to the chat, to everybody watching, call me crazy. I don't know. But to me, when you have a number 3 starter making practically nothing and a number 5 starter making practically nothing, you got a Cy Young winner and you got a Cy Young nominee and you got another guy, Carlos Rodon. I'm chilling. Like, I got a guy who eats 150 innings, can pitch out of the bullpen, can pitch a starting game. He can, go, against agility style against many different batters. You could plug him in. He's consistent. Yeah, he falls off at the end of the year. Copy. We know that. Okay. But I'm chilling because I got this weapon at my availability.
No, I agree with you.
Am I crazy?
No, I'm saying no. I was saying no, you're not crazy. But I think right now with the Yankees, they're handcuffed with money, right? And if they're trying to improve the third base position, they're going to have to get off of some money. And Marcus Stroman is the weakest link on the roster when you look at starting pitching. And we look at contracts. Nobody's taking DJ LeMahieu's contract. So the more realistic one is Marcus Stroman, right? And I hate to say that again. DJ LeMahieu. He was amazing for the New York Yankees when he was healthy, but he hasn't been healthy in a very long time, and that's just the reality of what it is. I want to shout out the chat real quick. My guy CK with the $5 super chat says, I like the Yankees to trade for Ryan McMahon. Colorado, they need pitching. They could use Marcus Stroman and an outfielder like Everson Pereira. Listen, Chris, if the Colorado Rockies were looking to trade Ryan McMahon, I'll be the first person to drive Marcus Stroman to the airport. I just do not see the Colorado Rockies willing to trade their only all-star that they have, or the only player of value, and Ryan McMahon. The Colorado Rockies, their ownership is what it is. Their front office is what it is. I don't see them or the benefit to them. They have a horrible minor league system as it is. So the Rockies are in a situation, they don't know whether they're pretenders or whether they're contenders. They're pretenders in my eyes, but for some reason they think they're contenders. So they're trying to compete in free agency. I don't know why. I would love for the Yankees to trade for Ryan McMahon. I just don't see the Rockies willing to trade them. Again, they're thinking that they're contenders when they're more realistic pretenders.
Absolutely. I would hate to be a Rockies fan. Could never be me.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
I like the mountains. The mountains help me out when it comes to like my nasal issues and stuff. I like being in the high mountains. It helps out my sinuses and shit. But besides that, I wouldn't want to be a Rockies fan.
Cold beer in a hot tub in Colorado, unmatched. Okay, but the baseball, not so much.
Yeah, let's shout out the chat one more time. Let's do a roll call. My guy Ghost is in the building. How you doing, Ghost? Hayden says, I feel like the smarter move for Stroman is trading him for international money. Listen, Hayden, if we can make it happen, bro. And yeah, like people are saying, Ha-Seong Kim is also injured right now, right? So if we were to sign Ha-Seong Kim, he would start the season on the IL. I think he's expected to come back in the middle of the first month or at the beginning of the second month of the season. So even if you were to sign Ha-Seong Kim, he's not going to be your starting third baseman. He'll be there for the rest of the season, but he's not going to be there for like the first month of the season or first half of the month of the season. So that's also a problem that we have to put out there. When you look at Marcus Stroman, he pitched 154 innings this last year. The year before 136, the year before 138, the year before 179. So Marcus Stroman is a guy that he can give you serviceable innings. It's just with the Mets when he was 30 years old. It's just he's 33. He's going to be 34 next year. And I don't think teams value him, especially when they saw the drop off. And again, the drop off it was two correlations for me. One, stamina. He just faded out. But two, the defense. If the defense was better, we would have got better innings and better starts, quality starts out of Marcus Stroman. If I had to put money down, maybe he's back with the Yankees to start the season. If the Yankees can't find a perfect trade candidate, I just don't want the Yankees to go into the season without a third baseman. I do not want them to just let DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera compete for a position. If you want to try to bring somebody in for the cheap, Yoan Moncada was a guy from the Chicago White Sox. I know he is injury prone. He has so much talent. He's 30 years old. He was a prospect that the Yankees tried to sign when he was coming out of Cuba. If you guys want to take a low risk, high reward, that's a guy that you could take a flyer on. You sign him for the cheap, and if he gives you something, he gives you something. It's just an extra option instead of just having DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo compete for the job. I want to have more options. If you're not going to go out there and trade for an MLB ready third baseman, that have more options than just DJ LeMahieu and Oswaldo Cabrera competing for a job.
I hear ya. I said it weeks ago, and my words are coming back to haunt us all, that DJ LeMahieu is going to be on the starting team on opening day, and everybody said grace. No, y'all. I just have a feeling it's not what I want to happen. Okay, this ain't my first rodeo, as we say in Texas. Okay, this ain't my first rodeo.
Ally Yankee King, no, Jazz Chisholm didn't retire, but from the people that I spoke with, and the people I spoke with at the winter meetings, the Yankees are moving Jazz Chisholm to second base. So as much as Ally Yankee King wants Jazz Chisholm to be the third baseman, he's going to be moved back to second base, right? Unless the Yankees put him in a trade, which I don't think the Yankees are going to put him in a trade. Shout out to my guy TC Stills in the building. TC, how you doing? Happy New Year. Salute to my brother TC. We have over 280 people rocking with us this morning. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, if you're on X, click the link in the bio. Jump on over to YouTube. On YouTube, we have over 170 people rocking with us, 100 of 70 beautiful people. If you guys can't smack that like button, we're sitting at 81 likes on the stream. So if you guys can, smack the like button and hit that subscribe button. Grace, I want to take a pause real quick, right? Just because it is the new year. Right, the Yankee news is all just rumors right now. We're just throwing stuff against the wall, seeing what can stick or not. Mr. Pete, 2.5 million. Mr. Pete, if you got 2.5 million, please share some of that with me and Grace. You could share some of that. We won't be hating. We won't let people know where you live. Just share some of that money with us. Shout out to my guy, Mr. Pete, in the chat. Anna Marie says, smack that like button right now. But Grace, like I brought up before the show, for those in the chat that don't know, Grace doesn't live in New York City, right? I'm not going to say where. If you don't know, that's on you to figure out. You could go back and study the law of Yankees Morning Brew, right? But for those out there, Grace didn't grow up living in New York City like most of us Yankee fans. So
Sadly.
one thing that Grace never got a chance to witness or wasn't around to witness was the Mike Francesa days of New York sports, right? So I was on TikTok and I found an account called WFAN Vault that has different call-in shows, whether that's Mike Francesa, whether that's Michael K, different sports radio shows in New York. And one thing that Grace, you were lucky to not have was the average Yankee fan call in and just talk nonsense, right? So I'm gonna play a video from Mike Francesa. We're just gonna go over some Mike Francesa videos. This is a video. A caller gets pulled over by the cops while calling into Mike Francesa. So let's just have some laughs real quick.
Yankee fan. I don't want Noah Syndergaard. He's injury prone. The guy's like a cesspit. Like, people, they forget. There's a cop behind. There's a cop. Damn it!
You can just see the guy getting pulled over, right, for using his phone. That's what he's yelling about, right? He's getting pulled over. He's on the phone. He's on his car phone. He's using the phone. And he get pulled over by the cop for using his phone as he's making a call.
Mike, listen, I'm
Now, that's just the first one we're gonna play. One of the funniest
people in New York
things.
drove cars. I thought everybody took the subway and stuff.
No, there's some people in New York that drive cars, Grace, okay? There's some of us that drive cars. But Mike Francesa, for those of you guys that are outside of New York, Mike Francesa, and listen to the Mike Francesa show. For me, growing up when I was in high school, even after high school, it was gold. Like, I used to DVR the Mike Francesa show because when I came home from work, I was able to watch and listen to Mike Francesa. This is just some of the gems that are on this account. And again, the dude was on the phone with trying to call in and got pulled over by the cops.
A 10-year-old boy was.
Robert Roselle, what's up, Robert?
Mike, I'm going to give it to you from a different perspective. I grew up being abused by my father, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And my mom knew what was going on. An authority.
All right, that got dark.
Could you imagine if that was your child in there?
On radio. Work tomorrow
Maryland
morning.
34 and Rutgers 24.
What a disgrace! Oh, look, it's the two Mr. Sloppies.
What is and we're going to have a dress code if you continue to come in here like you're the water boy.
Exit 63. That's Mike's exit on Long Island.
Exit
New Jersey, Long Beach Island. It's New Jersey.
63.
Oh, what are you doing with your lousy football team?
Here's what happens.
Fraud?
Here's what happens when the other team.
I'll take Bill Dave.
They can, in that ballpark, if you still got some healthy players here who want to prove they're not doormats, well, they're going to have to show that right now. The Yankees have something to prove. They have games to win. They have the advantage of having one of the two teams
behind them, losing every day since Baltimore and Tampa are facing each other. But it's been a long time since we've seen this. At the end of the 2001 season, I remember the Red Sox, fading out a bit. I mean, they were contending for a while, and then things fell apart with Jimmy Williams, and the Yankees took care of them pretty good, if I remember. In the end of that season, there's a 3-game set, I think, at Fenway, another one at the Yankee Stadium, which they just kind of walked right through. But otherwise, these late season series
Look at how his face is just
pretty
winning.
good, pretty meaningful, and it's just not the case finally for the first time in a long time. The only thing that you can see, Mike, and Teixeira's absence is part of this. The Yankees have been
Hector, that's what you look like during some of my long ass takes.
And they're going to face two of them in the series. So no matter what the rest of the team looks like, if these pitchers hold the Yankees down, you could be looking at a game where they might lose 3-1 or 4-1.
All right, we're talking with Sweeney, obviously, as we get ready.
And I don't think he realized that he fell asleep and then he woke up so quick.
Oh my God, that is classic. Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Yes. So Grace, you not being in New York City, right? You missed out on some of the great moments. One of the great ones that I'll put up next time when we come back on the show was when A-Rod got suspended by baseball and he went inside of the studio to plead his case on how he's not guilty, how he's innocent, how Rob Manfred is out for him. And 2 days later, he came out and admitted that he was lying and he pled guilty he admitted to taking steroids. But again, that's a walk down memory lane when it comes to Mike Francesa and New York Sports Radio. Grace Monroe, how do you like that? That was funny, right?
I like that. I wish I had access to that back in the day. I got to tell y'all how hard it has been to be such a dedicated and loyal New York Yankees fan out here in these sticks, as we call them. And back in the day, I remember when I was a waitress, like years ago, I had my cell phone in my apron pocket. This is before MLB TV existed, before the app, anything. I had the ESPN app on my phone, and I would have my phone in my apron pocket, waiting tables, and then I would go into the kitchen, and I'd pull my phone out, and I would look at the Gamecast. Wasn't it like a virtual Gamecast? Where it was just like a square for the strike zone, and it would like show up where the pitch was. That's how I had to watch some New York Yankees games while I was working and stuff. We couldn't get it on TV because of blackouts. And I could only watch the nationally televised games or the playoff games. So I was so dedicated. I'm like watching this virtual reenactment of the game on my phone. Like, it's been hard, but I'm here today. And thank God for MLB TV because I can watch all the games.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it now.
I would say now, with the access when it comes to the internet and how easy accessible it is for us, everything on our phone. The internet has created some amazing things and some horrible things. One amazing thing that I'm grateful for is the fact that myself and Grace, we met because of this internet. I met TC because of the internet. I met Damien, all of you folks in the chat, everybody that's here. My guy, Big Slick, appreciate Big Slick on the Twitter spaces. He's always killing it. I met him because of the internet. My guy, Hector from Washington Heights, El Telcayo is in the building. My guy, this is the guy that he calls into WFAN, and I live in Washington Heights. So when I'm listening to WFAN, and it's like, we got Hector from Washington Heights, I'm like, I'm not calling in. What do you mean? But this is Hector from Washington Heights. I met him because of the internet. Hector, I love you, my brother. Future as well, Ghost as well, CK. I met all of you guys, Anna Marie, because of the internet. And I think now in 2024, it is a blessing that we're all connected, and we're all connected because we fell in love with a sport, with a team when we were kids. And as kids, we fell in love with it. But as adults, we get to share our fandom with one another. Whether I agree with your takes or you agree with my takes, whether it's L.I. Yankee King, whether it's Bobby Malone on Twitter, whether it's Randy Miller, if you agree with us, cool. If not, fine. But there's one thing that connects us, and that connection is our sports team, and that's the New York Yankees.
Oh, yeah. You know what, Heck, with some of my Christmas money, let me go back. in 2009, that was my squad, right? That was my team. That was the last time we had a World Series championship, right? I was too young and didn't have access to the 90s Yankees very much, okay? So, like, the 2009 squad, okay, I wanted to grow up and marry Robinson Cano, okay? So, I wanted a championship sweatshirt so bad. And this was like before, yeah, we had the internet in 2009, but it was before the age of like, I'm just going to go on the internet and order whatever I want, have it delivered. Like this wasn't the case at the time. And I never got a 2009 championship swag sweatshirt. And this year, after we lost the World Series and I was depressed as fuck, I was like, you know what? I'm an adult. I have the internet. I'm going to see if I can get a 2009 World Series championship sweatshirt. And Hector, I found one on Poshmark. So if you were bidding against me, hey, in the chat, if you were bidding against me, guess what? I got it. It's mine. It's in that room right there. And I'm wearing that thing proud as hell, just walking around with my 2009. Like, so old now. It's 2025. But I don't care. But that is what I'm saying. Like, back then, the lack of access that we had, even to something as trivial as a sweatshirt, right? I didn't have friends that I could call who lived in New York City to be like, hey, go grab me a sweatshirt. Hey, go grab me a sweatshirt and mail it to me. You know what I mean? Like, we didn't have that. Now you can get anything you want anytime. You can talk to your friend. I watch Yankees games now, live tweeting with Nosebleed and Future, everybody on Twitter, and we're all hanging out virtually watching Yankees games. You know, and it's awesome because I have Yankees friends now, and it's amazing. I'm so thankful to the internet for meeting you, Hector. You know, I mean, I got to meet Jack Curry and Brian Hoke and Chris Kirschner, all these people because of you taking our friendship and taking me to the winter meetings with you, and everybody else I got to meet. I don't want to miss anybody, but I mean, all these opportunities. We got to interview Bernie Williams on this podcast.
What?
I got to meet and hang out with Bernie Williams. You know, I mean, I could go on and on about all the different amazing opportunities and things that happened to us over the last year on this podcast because of the internet. So it's been amazing. I'm so grateful. Yeah. Speaking of Hector, by the way, I don't know if this is a segue or not. But
I just want to say one more thing. One person I forgot to mention, and I was saving him for last, but you know, it's been turmoil for him joining us in the morning. But Damien, I didn't want to continue for Damien. Shout out Damien, that's my brother. It's just with the crazy work schedule in the morning. Damien wants to be here. Trust me, guys. It's just he has a crazy work schedule, and when Damien has time, he will always be back here, and he always has a spot. So I always want to give a second to shout out my brother Damien. I love my guy. That's why I was saving for last. Yeah, I miss you, Damien. Go ahead, Grace. Now it's a perfect segue for Grace Monroe.
Okay, here's my segue, right? And I told Hector, you know, since it's the end of the year, beginning of the year, let's talk about some of our memories. Let's do that. Let's go back. Imagine there's a graphic that goes and this is the memory version, okay? Memory section. What's it called? Montage.
Memories.
Okay, Hector. Off the cuff, off the top of your head, I wrote down, I have a list here and I kept this list all year, and I sent it to you already, you know it. But I sent this to you earlier, and it was just great moments that happened during the year. And I wrote them down on this note, in this note app, so that I could remember them for this moment right now. Remember when New York Yankees 2024 say goodbye and say hello to the 2025 Yankees. So Hector, what was one of your favorite memories? Doesn't have to be the favorite, just one of your favorite memories from last year's season.
From last year, I just want to say, just to let everybody know, Mark is not spamming. His message just went 3 times. It was the same message. I got it on StreamYard. It wasn't a spam. Just to let everybody know. Shout out to Mark in the chat. Just want everybody to know Mark is not spamming. It's just an error when it comes to YouTube. For me, it's so many. I would say my most memorable memory from 2024. I have a bunch of them.
Yeah.
but I would say, crap. I would
You want to
have
think?
to
I have a
say.
list. You want to
Go ahead. You
Okay.
yeah. You go first. You go first.
Let me say, the first one I wrote down here on my list was the Blue Jays walked Judge with 2 outs and nobody on. And it has never happened to Bonds. It only happened to Aaron Judge. And when they interviewed the Blue Jays manager after the game, they said, why in the world did you walk Aaron Judge with 2 outs and nobody on? And the manager said, quote, didn't want to see him hit again, end quote. Everybody was talking about how Judge wasn't getting the Bonds treatment. He was getting the Judge treatment. That's how good he was. I mean, his regular season, y'all. Let's please not gloss over what this man did. You know,
it was the best season of his career, hands down. I know he was four shy of 62 home runs, but
I mean,
the year that he had this year in 2024 is way better than his
incredible.
62 season. Even though he had 62 that year, this year when it comes to batting average, RBIs, walks, strikeout rate was the best year of his career. When it comes to this past year, for me, my most memorable thing, me personally, was meeting Willie Randolph. Willie Randolph, Willie Randolph and interviewing Willie Randolph, to me personally, was my best memory for 2024. Then it's Bernie Williams, the interview we had with Bernie Williams, and then I got to put Aaron Boone up there as well.
Of the baseball games.
No. I know. That's why I wanted to get those 3 in first, and then when it comes to the team, my favorite thing, this memory, I should say, or moment this year from the team, I would say it's Luis Hill's first month. Like when Garrett Cole was out, Luis Hill, he stepped up when we needed a starting pitcher to step up, and he looked like our future ace. His ERA was below 1 at one point. Luis Hill, that first month of the year was amazing. That to me was my biggest memory of the season.
You know what, Hector? I was talking to my husband last night when I was asking him, like, well, what are your favorite memories from the year? And he was like, I don't know. I'm gonna watch better this year. And I'm like, good job. But do you remember, again, I'm gonna talk about a Blue Jays game. Their manager was doing some wild things out here in these streets. But do you remember the game where the Blue Jays brought in, it was the end of the game, bottom of the 9th in Yankee Stadium. And the Blue Jays manager brought an outfielder to the infield so that DJ LeMahieu would ground out. DJ was on deck, and they had 5 infielders. 5 infielders. It was such an insult to DJ. He was like 0 for 100 at that point or something. I mean, something horrible and crazy. And DJ got up to bat, and everybody was like, oh God, game's over, right? DJ with 5 infielders. I remember the umps had to get together and discuss, because nobody ever exercises the right to bring in a 5th infielder, and they wanted to make sure that everybody was in the right place for the shift and all this stuff. And they brought in 5 infielders, and somehow, and God damn it, DJ still hit a ground ball, but he hit it in the one place that it slipped through the infield, and it was a walk-off ground ball hit. And then, of course, everybody went crazy. Wells, Rice, and Volpe were like leaning over the dugout, screaming for DJ, and DJ comes around, and everybody is celebrating. And that was when Meredith was interviewing DJ, and they poured the igloo over his head, and he just left. And Meredith was like, well, I guess the interview's over. I mean, that was so funny. That's one of my favorite moments. And it was just like we were all on cloud 9, because DJ, yes, he has struggles. Yes, he's cooked, of course, but he was beloved for years and a fan favorite. We all love him. And to see him have the 5th infielder brought in, such an insult, and to actually succeed and win the game, it was just such an emotional moment for everyone. That was a great moment for me. One of my favorite memories of the games. Couple of the double steals that Volpe and Jazz did. That was really
Yes, towards the
exciting.
end of the season, that was very
Yes.
exciting to see them as well. You know,
Yes.
folks in
When
the chat, let us
Cabrera-
know. Put it in the
Yeah,
chat.
wait,
Let us
wait,
know
here's
as
it.
well. Put your moment in the
When-
chat. Go ahead, Grace.
Alex, I made this. So I really appreciate you. I crochet. I made this
That's
sweater.
fire. You made that sweater, Grace?
Yeah, I made
That
it.
is so dope. I'm gonna
Thank
need something
you.
for my dome piece. You know, I'm gonna need.
Oh, that's easy. But yeah, I I remember the time that Cabrera scored from second on a sac fly. I was so hyped when he came around third and he didn't stop, and I was like, he's going for it. He slid on his belly and he scored on a sac fly from second base. I was hyped as that was one of my best. I love Cabrera. Anytime he has
And that was a time when it felt like the Yankees couldn't buy a run. We were struggling offensively to score runs at the time, and Oswaldo made that play. So that was awesome. Folks in the chat, put it in the chat. Let us know your favorite time of the season.
Do you remember the time that Juan Soto fouled the ball off of his foot and he went down? He was down for what seemed like 10
Forever.
minutes. The trainers were working on him. And we were like, he's out. That's it. You know, we're so reactionary. That's it. He's hurt. He gets up. This man, Juan Soto, gets up. I'm not even going to say it. Soto Shuffle is dead to me. But anyway, he goes over to the box, freaking one-legged. The guy throws him a meatball. Boom! Out of the park. Freaking hobbling around the bases on one leg. This man just armed out a home run on one leg.
Yeah.
I think they even took him out of the game. I don't think he even played after that. I mean, it was crazy, but we were all so hyped. We had a lot of great memories. Obviously, the home run that sent us to the World Series eventually. Big G stealing a base. Let's go.
In the world. Yes. Gregory Rain put Soto home run against Cleveland. That was a good one right there. That game was amazing. Dennis DDV is in the building. Theo Dennis. I got to make time to get Dennis on the show and talk to Dennis. Dennis is somebody I met at Yankee Stadium. A great guy. If you're watching Yankee games and you see the guy in the bleacher creatures or you see the guy in the bleacher section with the big ass Yankee WWE belt, that's Dennis. Just so you guys know, Dennis is a celebrity in the Yankee world. If you guys go to Yankee Stadium, he's always with his belt. So shout out to Dennis. I met him this year. Amazing human being, awesome person. All of the bleacher creatures that I met this year, everybody at Yankee Stadium that I watched games with and became friends with. Shout out to my guy from the Bronx Zoo as well. My people from Latino Sports. Me joining Latino Sports, that was a big step in my life, both personally and professionally. So again, meeting so many people. Gene says Ben Rice's 3-homer game. That was an amazing one as well. That was great.
And he didn't know where to go for the curtain call. Remember? They were like pointing.
Yeah, he didn't know. He didn't know where to go. Also, and like my girlfriend Alex says, paranormal. Are you a ghost hunter? You gotta let me know if you're a ghost hunter. I would like to do a collab stream with you because I like ghost adventure shows. I like ghost hunting shows. Let us know, right? Paranormal and the Fun House. Shout out to you. Chris K said my favorite was when my guy Luke Vivo got two innings saved. Yes, absolutely. Oh, and I wanted to. Dennis says his favorite moment was seeing the face that his daughter had when Jazz Chisholm put on the friendship bracelet that she made him and gave her a ball. The team won the game, and that was icing on the cake. That's one thing I say. Working media and being on the field at Yankee Stadium, seeing how Jazz interacts with young fans. He takes his time. He makes him and Oswaldo. They from the moment they're out there on the field to the moment they go back into the dugout to get ready for the game, they're interacting with young fans on the field in the stands. So I just want to point that out. Shout out to both Jazz and Oswaldo for that. Let's see. Hayden says my favorite moment was Volpe's grand slam in the World Series since I was at that game and saw it live. Hayden, that's fire, Hayden. Hayden at that game. That's fire. Hayden, if you have any footage or anything, send it over to me so I can play it on the next show. Mark T. Maker, shout out to Mark T. Maker, Grisham Homer with the crowd chanting for Soto. Yes,
Mark.
Yes, Mark, that was fire.
And then, of course, what did the fans chant the next time he came at bat?
Jazz Chisholm.
We want no, because they were saying we want Soto, right? And then Grisham, they wanted to pinch hit Soto for Grisham, right? But then Grisham hit a homer. The next time Grisham came to the at bat, Next time he came to the plate, everybody chanted.
They were chanting
"We want
Grisham."
Grisham. Yes, that was so awesome.
Yes.
I love Yankees fans. Bro, I just saw one that I forgot about. Volpe giving Garcia the aggressive back pat to send him back to the bench, and the bench is clear.
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
Cole walks over like the daddy Cole he is, like, nobody messing with my boy, Anthony Volpe.
He looked like the dad at an AAU game that goes onto the court because the referee calls a call he doesn't like.
100%. Garrett Cole is the dad of the team, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I want to shout out some more people to chat. Rodney Green is in the building. Shout out to Rodney Green. Hope all is well. Travel Vibes is in the building. Happy New Year to Travel Vibes. Hector Cruz saying Derek from Pinstripe territory shaving his head when Rice hit. That was fire. Shout out to Derek also. At least listen. A man of his word, right? He said he would, and he absolutely did, and he shaved it on stream. So shout out to Derek for that. He always stuck by his word. I have 2 videos that I want to play real quick, and we'll get back to the chat. One, this past Sunday, I was at a baseball camp down in at Lincoln High School. Shout out to Joshua Palacios and his brother Richie Palacios. Joshua Palacios is a right fielder for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We had Akil Badu. We had other MLB players there as well. So I have a recap video from that camp. I'm going to play it for you guys, and we'll be right back. Just watch this video. So again, shout out to the folks at Built Different. Shout out to Joshua and Richie Palacios. Amazing individuals. And shout out to all the baseball players that was there. We had Akil Badu, John Henry Malloy from the Detroit Tigers, a starting pitcher from the Arizona Diamondbacks, prospect from the Washington Nationals. So there were some big leaguers there, as well as prospects in the system. So shout out to everybody that was there on Sunday. And then I got one more video to play. It's a little bit of a tearjerker. So one more tearjerker for Grace Monroe before we get out of here. This Derek Jeter commercial will always and forever give me chills, right? And I think every Yankee fan in the chat that's watching will feel the same way. So this is the last thing we're going to play, and we're out of here.
Now batting for the Yankees, number 2, Derek Jeter. Number 2.
The Mets. Derek Jeter will forever and forever be a legend in New York sports and Yankees lore and Yankees fandom. No matter who you are, no matter what team you watch growing up, even if you weren't a baseball fan, even if you weren't a sports fan, you knew the name Derek Jeter. You knew what Derek Jeter meant. And one thing that Derek Jeter always talked about was winning. It's always about winning, especially in New York. And Derek Jeter will for always be a legend. So my one interview that I have on my bucket list is with Derek Jeter. I will get there one day, hopefully soon, but that day will happen. So I just wanted to play that before we get out of here. Grace, last words for the people before we get out of here.
I don't think I've ever seen that commercial, actually.
Really?
That was really moving. You know, the athletes that transcend sports are really, really special. And Derek Jeter was respected across all of baseball, no matter if you were a Yankees fan or not. I mean, he was the captain in his own way. You know, Judge is a captain in his way. Everybody's different, right? There will never be another Derek Jeter. He is one of one. Absolutely.
Yep.
We all are lucky to have seen him play. If you were lucky enough to see him play, I mean, he's an absolute legend. So, I mean, it's so hard to be unanimously respected. The fact that he didn't get into the Hall by unanimous vote is absolutely egregious.
For real.
But anyway, yo, CC, you think he's gonna get in on this ballot? By the way.
Well, yeah, that's something that's there. Hold on, let me bring it up real quick because give us 2
Sorry,
seconds.
that was like a turn.
No, it's totally fine. I'm glad you did that because I had the image of the Hall of Fame. I have it right here. Hold on, let me put it on the screen real quick. So when you look at the ballot for the Hall of Fame, this is the list right now. You got Bobby Abreu, Carlos Beltran, Mark Burley, Carlos Gonzalez, Curtis Granderson, Felix Hernandez, Torrey Hunter, Adam Jones, Andrew Jones, Ian Kinsler, Russell Martin, Brian McCann, Dustin Pedroia, Andy Pettit, Hanley Ramirez, Manny Ramirez, Fernando Rodney, Alex Rodriguez, Francisco Rodriguez, K-Rod, Jimmy Rollins, CC Sabathia, Ichiro, Troy Tulowitzki, Chase Utley. I can't stand Chase Utley. Omar Vizquel, Billy Wagner, David Wright, and Ben Zobrist, right? So when you look at this list, Grace, for me, I would say automatically Ichiro, he should get in, no problem. Ichiro's a guarantee. After Ichiro, I would say the next guarantee to me, it has to be CC Sabathia. CC Sabathia has to be the next guarantee that's on that list. What do you thought? What are your thoughts? And folks in the chat, let us know as well.
Ichiro Suzuki should be unanimous.
Unanimous.
In my opinion. He is absolutely one of the greatest to ever play the game, period. I mean, he will definitely be in. He'll definitely go first ballot, and he deserves to. And then for me, I agree. CC is the next one. I mean, they don't make pitchers like CC anymore. I mean, really, it is a dying art. What he did. The game is changing. It's evolving. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying anything bad about the current MLB pitchers, but CC Sabathia, absolutely. Oh, he was my boy back in the day. I told you 2009 was my crew. But I loved CC, and I still love him, obviously. But he's a Hall of Famer. Come on,
CC's a Hall of Famer. And then when you look at this list, I believe Beltran belongs in the Hall of Fame as well as a switch hitter, Gold Glove defender as well, one of the best defenders at his position. I think he's a Hall of Famer.
First of all, A-Rod over Beltran.
Yeah, I was about to say A-Rod definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I think A-Rod and Manny Ramirez definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. I know everybody's arguing about the steroids and this, that, and the third, but if Mike Smith, the Phillies third baseman, if it was well known that he took greenies and amphetamines, and that's like an extra caffeine boost to help you stay focused. If he's in the Hall of Fame and people praise him and they want to shit on PED and steroid users like A-Rod and Barry Bonds or Roger Clemens, those guys deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. If you want to put an asterisk, cool, you can put an asterisk right next to them. But I will pay anyone and all the money that's in my bank account if you could find me any peer review article, any scientific study, anything that correlates that says that your hand-to-eye coordination improves off of steroids and PEDs. Steroids and PEDs help you when it comes to stamina, helps you when it comes to recovery time, helps you when it comes to muscle growth. But when it comes to hand-to-eye coordination, there's no correlation between steroids, PEDs, and hand-to-eye coordination. Find me the study, find me the article, and I will read it on stream.
Dude, look. not everybody, a lot of people were doing it back in the day, and nobody was doing what A-Rod was doing. Okay? That's all I need to say. And I mean, if you could say maybe let's be generous and say a third of the league, and that's a low number. Let's say a third of the league was doing it. A-Rod was the only one who did what he did. Barry Bonds was the only one who did what he did. I don't care. All through history, you got people who were doing substances, and I won't say them because I don't want to get flagged, but many different substances that have been used over the years, okay? I mean, A-Rod is one of the top best baseball players of all time, period. Top 10 players of all time. I will stack him against any top 10 list you can come up with. A-Rod is on that list. His ability at shortstop was absolutely nasty back in the day. Then third base, I mean, his ability as a hitter, his intelligence, I mean, come on. And he did it so long. He hit so many home runs. He had so many RBIs. I mean, come on, y'all. He was one of the best to ever do it. And you're telling me that some of these losers in the Hall of Fame that made it through are better than Alex Rodriguez with or without PEDs? Come on.
Yeah.
Be so for real right now.
They hate
him. They hate him. They'll never let him in. They hate him.
I would say my last take on it, right? If Bug Selig, right, who was the commissioner of Major League Baseball at the time, he oversaw everything that was going on during the steroid eras of the late 90s, right? When the strike happened and the attendance was down and the ratings were down and nobody cared about baseball. Bug Selig, I'm not saying he put the needle in these players' arms, but he was overseeing everything that was going on. And you're going to tell me that the money that Major League Baseball made, the ratings that they got, the TV deals that they got, he's in the MLB Hall of Fame for overseeing the steroid errors, but the players that took the steroids can't be in the Hall of Fame. I don't see how that adds up. He was the one part. If you wanted anyone to change the rules or to change how baseball is, if you wanted somebody to make sure people weren't on steroids, the one person who had the authority to do that was the commissioner, who is in the Hall of Fame. He is in the Hall of Fame, and he oversaw all of this. So if he's allowed to be in the Hall of Fame, why can't the players be in the Hall of Fame?
I know. It's ridiculous. It's a shame. It is a real shame. It's just backwards.
Yeah. It's just backwards. Like if Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and A-Rod, if they can't be in the Hall of Fame, copy. Cool. I want the Yankees to give back every dollar that they made in the late 90s. I want the Dodgers. I want every other team. I want them to give back every dollar that they made off of the TV deals, over the contract deals, over the internet rights. I want you to give back every dollar, because that dollar and all that money you made all of that off of the back of the players that you are denying an entrance into the Hall of Fame.
If you're denying, Beltran because of cheating in the World Series, then you should have suspended him from baseball for life, like they did Pete Rose. I'm not saying that they should have done that, but my point is, if you're still allowing them to play baseball, then they should be eligible to go into the Hall of Fame with a real chance. Otherwise, just be about the rules or don't. This halfway in, halfway out, you're just being prejudiced thing is not right. Alex Rodriguez, by any statistic that you can compare to anyone on that list, blows them out of the water. But they won't vote him in. Nope. It's just stupid.
Yeah, anyway. No, and I'm right there with you, Grace. And this is a conversation we can have all day and every time, but we're going to stop it here. It's 12:30. Folks, appreciate all of you guys for tuning in. We had over 80 people watching us collectively. On YouTube, we're sitting at 4,742 subscribers. If you guys can't hit that subscribe button, we are almost at 5K. Help us out. Let's make that push. By the time spring training start, we should be over 5K on the subscribers. Appreciate everybody that was in the building. Double A, we missed you, Double A. Happy New Year, Double A. I appreciate you. Joel's in the building. Shout out to Joe, my guy. El Consigliere is in the building. Nathaniel Crenshaw, appreciate you. Gregory Rain, Gene, Old Sarge was in the building. Appreciate all of you guys. Mark T. Maker, Anna Marie, Future, my guy Ghost. Make sure you hit the like, hit the sub button. But until next time, folks, make sure you drink some water, say something positive. I'm your guy Hector, and
I'm Grace Monroe.
This is Yankees Morning Brew. We will be back next week, and until next time, deuces. We are out of here, people.
You fought well yesterday. Your style is unorthodox.
Scorpio.
Okay.